To Tell the Truth, show number 1831. Director is Lloyd Gross. Recording date is 1/22/74. Take one.
Ladies and gentlemen, Gary Moore. Good to see you all. Thank you so much. Welcome once again to Tell the Truth. I guess we all know that the device of mistaken identity has been used in theatrical plots going all the way back to the times of the Greeks and the Romans. Shakespeare used that device many times in his work. Well, our first guest is a gentleman who was involved in a case of mistaken identity, but it was not fiction. It was all too true in his own life. Kind of a harrowing story, but fortunately with a happy ending. And we'll meet him as soon as we meet our happy panel here on To Tell the Truth. Nipsey Russell. Ann Mira. Bill Cullen. And Kitty Carlisle. Well, now, fortunately, there is certainly no case of mistaken identities on our panel this week. Reading from right to left, there is Bill Cullen, and Kitty Carlisle, and Peggy Cass, and Gene Rayburn. Right. Except that for this week only, Bill is made up to look like Kitty, Kitty is made up to look like Bill, and Gene is made up to look like...
so good.
And made up like Peggy Cass is Ann Mira. How about you? Annie and Nipsey, good to have you both here.
Indeed. Thank you.
I, of course, am Gary Moore, made up to look like Paul Newman, but the stitches all fell out. Can't help that. Now let us meet a gentleman who has some startling information about cats, dogs, and other domestic pets.
Number one, what is your name, please?
My name is Walter Hinckley.
Number two.
My name is Walter Hinckley.
Number three.
My name is Walter Hinckley.
And now let's listen to Walter Hinckley's story. He says, I, Walter Hinckley, am here to warn you that a dog may not be man's best friend. As a deputy commissioner in the New York City Department of Health for over a year, I am all too aware of the disease-carrying potential of various house pets. Exotic wild animals bought for the owner's own ego satisfaction are usually unsuitable for domestic life. For instance, skunks are susceptible to rabies, and what's more, they bite. Chimps are not only hard to handle when they reach maturity, they may be carriers of hepatitis and TB. It goes without saying that poisonous snakes are dangerous pets, but they are also illegal to own. However, the greatest danger is not from wild animals. I am an animal lover myself. I own a dog and a cat, but the fact remains that cats can transmit mange to their owners, dogs can pass on distemper or worms, and a tiny pet turtle can be a carrier of the dangerous salmonella disease. Each year in the United States, between 600,000 and 1 million persons are victims of the most common animal-inflicted injury, the bite of a dog. Signed, Walter Hinckley. I am fascinated by that last sentence. Each year in the U.S., between 600,000 and 1 million persons are victims of the bite of a dog. Mm-hmm. That's got to be some mean dog. And fast. And busy.
Get that dog. Do something about it.
Stop him.
All right. Let's start with Annie Mira, please.
All right, Walter. Number one. Has there been any record of animals suffering diseases from being near people?
Well, all animals have diseases.
But they can't contract them from humans, is what I mean.
Well, I suppose they could, sure,
I see.
from various sources.
Right. Being in the Department of Health, who is your immediate superior?
Lowell Baird.
Lowell Baird. What happened? Number 2, I have a rabbit. I don't have a dog or a cat, but we have a rabbit home. And I want to know, did they get any rare or rabbit-type diseases?
It died.
Well,
No, it didn't die. Jeez, Nipsey.
Rabbits, like dogs, are susceptible to rabies, yes.
Rabies?
Yes.
I better get shots, so the rabbit should get shots. Should he, me or the rabbit? I'll never know.
That busted too bad, Bill.
I will stay with number 2, Mr. Hinckley, and ask this question. The problem here has been stated. Do you have any suggestions for a solution? Before I answer that, New York City, for instance, many people say it's overpopulated with pets, Manhattan and the city itself. Number 2, what do you think should be done?
Well, right now, what the department is proposing is spaying and neutering of animals, as is done in San Francisco.
Number 3, do you go along with that? Is that a department proposal?
Yes, I think that, along with the limiting the numbers of dogs that are imported into New York City, and a conscientious effort to pick up stray animals in the city.
Number 1, aren't most of the dogs we see on the streets of New York dogs that belong to people? I mean, the spaying wouldn't necessarily take care of that. They mostly are wild animals, I suppose. But aren't many of these dogs and cats purchased?
Certainly, some people purchase dogs and then after a while, for whatever reason, will abandon the dog, and from that point on, the dog is a wild animal.
Well, number 2, is our problem, does it lie with the wild animals, or does it lie with the domesticated animals that we have in our cities?
Well, the domesticated animals, cats and dogs primarily, but there are a number of other wild animals in the city.
And on to Kitty Carlisle.
Thank you. Number 3, what is psittacosis?
It's a virus.
What do you get it from?
It's transmitted by an animal.
Oh, all right. Number 2, I know a lot of people who have dogs who allow them to lick their faces all the time. Is that good or bad?
That's bad.
Number 1, is it not true that dogs don't really have any kind of germs, though, in their mouths?
No, that's not true.
It's not true. Number 2, can you get TB from a chimp?
Yes, you can.
A human can get TB from a chimp?
That's correct.
Number 3, what kind of terrible dust does a pigeon transmit, sometimes through the air conditioners, that's very dangerous to people?
I don't know the answer to that.
You don't know about that. Number 1, what is your recommendation then for, let's say, something like pet turtle? Oh, I know what I want to ask you. Do the turtles get big in the sewers? Are there great giant alligators in the sewers?
You'll never know. What a time for the buzzer to go off.
Sooner.
Yes, the Grand Concourse Monster.
To avoid Kitty from having total frustration, number 1, are there giant turtles in the sewers?
They're not a health problem. They wouldn't come under our jurisdiction.
Okay. Number 2, what are the laws in the city of New York, you're a deputy commissioner, about owning exotic animals?
Well, quite a few animals are outlawed. Most noticeably, your poisonous snakes.
I mean, like marmoset monkeys and things of that sort. Does one need a license in order to own one of these animals?
Yes, one does, and a lot of monkeys also are outlawed.
Number 3, how much disease is spread through the waste matter from animals, dog droppings in the streets and things of that sort?
A considerable amount of disease is spread through fecal matter, such as salmonellosis, salmonella disease.
Now, number...
Hey there. That's all, friends. Little bell rang, so you must make a choice. The audience will now take another peek and decide whether we think it's number 1, or number 2, or number 3. And Ann Mira, if you have to go first, if you've made a decision, I'd like to know who and why.
I think the Walter number 2 is the guy, because I don't think 1 and 3 are. That's why.
Very good logic. I can't argue with it.
Never mind,
There's
Bill.
a certain acute thinking there.
It's pretty cute.
Beautiful. Let's go to Bill.
Well, to rest Kitty's mind, there are giant turtles on the streets of New York. I rode home in one last night. Now, of all the people here who sounded like a city official, who seemed to have this well thought out in advance, and did not give too much information, which one of the other gentlemen, I voted for number 2 for that.
We have a small trend shaping up, a pair of 2s so far. Kitty says no, absolutely
oh, no.
not.
Number 3 was using all those scientific words that commissioners of health and diseases use, so it's got to be number 3.
Got to be. Pair of 2s and a 3. Nipsey?
Well, I agree with Kitty. Number 3 did have all the technical terminology, but number 2 said something. He said, the department proposes. If that's not official language, I never...
A bureaucratic kind of statement.
That is the commissioner.
All right, the votes are all in. May I propose, gentlemen, that the real Walter Hinckley please stand up. Gentlemen, we almost got a total sweep. Good job. Let's find out who we all are. Number 1, what is your real name, please, and what do you do?
My name is Norman Murphy. I'm Vice President of Frames Tours Limited.
Frames Tours. Number 2, highly victorious. What is your real name? What do you do?
My name is Carswell Vaughn. I'm a freelance writer.
Freelance writer. Mr. Hinckley, in the conversation that you and I had just before the show, you told me a rather startling fact that as far as strays are concerned, the only agency involved in picking up stray dogs is the ASPCA?
That's correct.
And out of a population of how many stray dogs do we have?
We estimate that there are about 150,000 stray dogs in New York City. The ASPCA picks up approximately 12 per week, and at that rate, we'll never cut into the stray dog problem in New York City.
They pick up only 12 a week?
Yes, on an average, they pick up 12 a week. It's obvious that a lot more has to be done in the city.
Well, thank you, Mr. Hinckley, and thank you, gentlemen. Our time is up. Thank you for being with us. Stay tuned.
In addition to the cash awards, our first team of challengers.